All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Legacy and Impact. It is January 3rd. 2024. I am so excited to be reconnected with everybody as we're launching into this new year. 2024 is guaranteed to be a historic year for each and every one of us. As long as we play our cards right, you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of history or the wrong side of opportunity. And so with that being said, welcome Glenn and Kelly out in Illinois. Welcome Kenny. Welcome Margaret. And Kenny, where are you? Where are you based? I don't know if you can.
I'm in Colorado.
They're in Colorado. Okay, fantastic. Good stuff. Welcome. Thank you. Glad to see you joining us. There will be a number of other people as we move forward. But as always, it is a privilege and an honor. I don't take this time for granted. It is my job to help inspire you, help enlighten you, help educate you, and hopefully lock arms and arms with you in your journey, your entrepreneurial journey, your legacy building journey. And with that being said, who's got something to share about your new year, about your excitement for 2024? Anything you want to share? The call is open at this point. Nothing?
Well, I'll start. I'm excited because I'm getting on the refereeing side of things, on the officiating side of things, I'm getting opportunities to move up to the college level now, and I got some men's college volleyball games, and I wasn't even looking to move up on that side of things, but and then I'll have a shot at the Big Ten for the women's volleyball, so this spring. So we'll see, we'll see how it goes this spring, and I'm cautiously optimistic, as I always like to say.
Sure.
Yeah, just excited about, the prospect of, building the business. I just have a feeling that this year is going to be the turnaround year, and, so yeah, we're excited.
That's super. That's super exciting, because the world of sports is very, very competitive, and it's an extraordinary challenge. And for you as an official, as a referee, you go through the ranks. The refs work harder than the athletes themselves when you're seeing they're on the court, the whole time, depending upon the sport. I know a friend of mine has been a referee in the NHL, and like insane shape they have to be in. They work so hard.
The players get to take breaks, the refs don't.
Correct. And it's like with me as I'm interacting with clients, as you, Glenn, when you're speaking with people, you have to be totally present to what's going on. And as an official in sports, there's no turning off your brain. There's no daydreaming. You have to be all in. So that's
right.
I know that's a challenge. And so I've said this before, thank you for your contribution. You make a huge impact on countless young men and women as their sporting endeavors. But I'm excited to see that for you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And, now my ultimate goal is on the officiating side of things, at least for women's college, is volleyball, is to do the national championship game.
Wow.
So who knows? I mean, I before it was, worked the state championship game for high school, and that's never going to happen. Well, it happened 2 years in a row, a couple of years ago. So who knows? I mean, this year it'd be nice to do the boys high school state championship this spring, but again, if it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, that's okay. Life goes on. It's just a small part.
It's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be recognized, and that's what it is. And recognition's great because it's a pat on the back, but it's like, okay, what are you doing now? What's the next thing that you're doing? And that's what I love about being an entrepreneur. You're only as good as your last project, and and just getting a project to a point where you can present it, getting it to a point where you can get funding, getting it to a point where you can start generating money, bringing it to fruition, enrolling other people in it. That's the entrepreneur's journey. And oddly enough, I was on a call. A friend of mine has an incredible idea, and he's been working it through for the last 6 months, and he invited me to run the numbers with him and the whole go through his whole PowerPoint pitch. And I think he's got something incredible. And that's one of the great things about, again, association, new skill sets, you bringing value to your community, is when people reach out to you and they really, really want your opinion, right? And as a result, I mean, I know there's going to be a huge opportunity for us to make money with the opportunity as it comes to market. It's just in Idaho right now. They're just launching in Idaho, but it's going to be nationwide, and I think it's going to be a huge, huge money earner. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So cool, but that's great. Kenny or Margaret? I know, Margaret, we spoke earlier in the week about you working with me and helping me with some of my load. Anything else come up for you this past week? Or Kenny, you want to share anything? All right.
Well, I'm thrilled that we were able to, discuss your needs.
Yep.
And my needs, obviously, and create a little synergy between us. Yeah, I like the idea. It's kind of interesting. I probably wouldn't pursue that direction on my own, but because you've offered to take me under your wing, I thought, you know what, this might just be something, that I can see us doing together, long term, obviously. Yeah, I think it would be a benefit to both of us and others as well, because I have a pretty good sphere of influence. So, as far as doing tax returns, I mean, I've got a lot of people that I could bring on board as far as new clients goes. So, and obviously, yeah, go ahead.
Well, guaranteed. Again, I suffer from this exact same thing. Is we tend to have tunnel vision, and oftentimes when we're focused on certain things or we're trying to pull things, we miss out on so many opportunities and so much money that's literally all around us. And it's about just taking the blinders off and taking a true look at it. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Richard Dreyfuss, Nick Nolte in that. And Richard Dreyfuss is the rich guy who lives in Beverly Hills. He's obnoxious and rich and drives a Rolls Royce. And he became wealthy making wire hangers that the dry cleaners hang on. Nothing sexy about wire hangers, nothing sexy about toothpicks, nothing sexy about so many of these little items that are around our house. But you could become a multimillionaire if you simply just focused on doing that, right? And it dawned on me, one of my business coaches shared with me, they said, Steve, what you don't realize is that if you were selling toilet paper just based on the people that you could make millions and millions of dollars just providing the toilet paper to the people that you know. And that's it, right? So for those of you who don't know, I spoke to Margaret. Margaret has a bookkeeping background, accounting, formal accounting. She's very well versed. She used to teach QuickBooks. And she's been dealing with some challenges like disabilities, things like that, and was looking for, some opportunities. She's got a lot of different things going on. And rather than focusing on all of our energy in one thing, is like, let's take a look at all the different areas. And one of the areas that I am going to be providing, our company is going to be providing, there's a new ruling for LLCs, limited liability companies, where they need to file a specific form for FinCEN, it's the financial police, finance and Criminal Endeavors Network, something like that. I don't know, FinCEN. And there's a
But
form that needs,
Stephen, that was mostly for that was mostly for international. I didn't read anything about it being for the US.
no, it's
Just to
for,
let you know.
it's for yeah, for
Yeah.
every LLC in the United States has to file that form, right? So,
Hmm.
so, but it's designed to weed out the international stuff. But so I have all of these companies, all of these clients, and so we're going to be supporting them. And getting this one form filled out is a fair bit of work that somebody has to do, either the clients or we can take care of it. I'm already overwhelmed, so I reached out to Margaret. I said, Margaret, here's an extraordinary opportunity. Here, if you work with me, we can start generating some money together. You can learn some skills. And once you've got that down, you can go into the marketplace, because the majority of people that have LLCs, there's no shortage of people of limited liability companies out there. And most people have no idea. If you become a specialist in a very small niche, and that niche is a requirement that everybody has to do, you can make some crazy money. That was the conversation I had with Margaret, right? And again, it's not the be all and end all, but again, if you can get into the cycle where literally by filing a form, you can make 50 or 100 or $200, that's easy money. I'm sure you'd agree, right? And that's what we discussed. And then I talked to her. I said, have you ever thought about getting your tax license, right? I asked that question because at one point I didn't have my tax license. I was busy with other stuff, and I was doing real estate and tax auctions and all these things. And my wife said to me, she says, Stephen, you should get your tax license to help me with the expanding client base. And so what was my initial thought? You're nuts. Are you crazy? Right. So again, Margaret, talking to Margaret, it's like, hey, have you ever thought about this? You already have a bunch of the skill sets. Once you get your license, now you're licensed to do something that other people can't do. Right. And again, it's literally just having one more, for lack of a better term, one more feather in your cap. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And when you put all those together, next thing you know, you've got enough workload, enough flexibility, enough income, and now you can start designing your life, right? So that was a conversation I had with Margaret, and so hopefully we'll be able to do some magic together. So,
Amen.
amen. Exactly. So, hey, Jeffrey, good evening.
Hi, Stephen. Good to see you.
Great to see you. I still have my cough, which refuses to go away. I was hoping to scare it away at New Year's, but that didn't happen. And all right, let's talk a little bit about some of the new stuff that's going on. Hopefully everybody is excited. Hopefully everybody's paying attention, right? And question, did anybody do anything out of the norm for Christmas or for New Year's? I ask this because I did. Did anybody?
We would love to hear.
Got it. So with us, we were all of our family, for the most part, is in California or spread throughout the United States. We're down in Mexico. And we had just gone back to California in the middle of December for IRS training courses and that, and didn't necessarily see the need to or desire to go back to California for Christmas. So we said, oh, let's just stay here. And friends of ours that we're actively in business with, they're over in Merida, which is a beautiful, beautiful colonial city in Yucatan Peninsula, or in Yucatan, the state of Yucatan. And so we decided, we had been wanting to go there. And so we jumped in the car and we went to a city called Valladolid, which is equally beautiful, and celebrated Christmas, a little bit of Christmas there, Christmas Eve there, and then headed over to Merida. And there were people from all over the world. We stayed in a hotel right in the center of town. It was made in 1910, so over 100-year-old hotel. It was fantastic. We rode in a carriage, horse-drawn carriage. And it was absolutely beautiful, and we got to hang out with with friends. We were there for like 2.5, 3 days. And it was magical because we had no expectations, right? We were just very present and experiencing something different. And the kids, we had, a couple gifts for each of them, and celebrated Christmas morning there. And it was really magical. And I encourage you to, if you have the opportunity, to do something completely out of the norm, right? Because we've talked about before, as humans, we're creatures of habit. 95% of everything we do based on habit. How I communicate on this call, a lot of it is habit. How you interact is a lot of it is habit. How you wake up in the morning, the things you do, brushing your teeth, getting your coffee, eating your breakfast, whatever. 95% of what we do is based on habit. And what happens, unfortunately, is we get into this routine, and the routine doesn't always serve us. You know what I mean? Right? We kind of get stuck in a rut, and it's not a terrible thing. But again, when humans are really need creativity and need the ability to express ourselves and the need to experience life with and through other people, right? When we get into a rut, oftentimes our entire world, our psyche and physicality and or physiology gets into a rut. So I encourage you, sometime during the month of January, take a trip somewhere. It doesn't need to be an expensive trip. Just go do something you've never done before. Drive to the mountains, walk to a waterfall, go to the beach, go to a skate. If you haven't gone skating, ice skating for a while, go somewhere you've never been before. Do something that you maybe used to do when you were a kid. So you get this whole mental stimulation of new and potentially things that you've done before or things that you are familiar with, and get those memories triggered, right? Because 2024 is going to be an extraordinary season of change, extraordinary season of transition, things moving, right? It's going to be an extraordinary season of opportunities. And all of these things, I believe, are going to happen almost simultaneously. So you want to be aware, you want to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Meaning if things are different, that's okay. I'm going to celebrate it. I'm not going to shut down because, no, that doesn't feel right. No, go with it. Go with it. Walk through the door and see what's on the other side, right? And because that's what I believe 2024 is going to open up for us as a collective and us as individuals, right? Number one, anybody have a new exercise routine? Oftentimes exercise, changing your, as Tony Robbins says, if you want to change your physicality, you need to change or you want to change your psychology, you have to change your physiology. You have to get your body moving, right? This is something I'm working on. I haven't been aggressively like, oh, I got to get to the gym, right? For me, it's I got to walk every day right now, and I have to be drinking water, right? I've got my 2 glasses of water here. That's pretty much all that I'm drinking throughout the day. For those of you who are paying attention, I did have this, but that was an accident. So, right? So, exercise, that's something new associations. Anybody either in sales calls or associations or anything, meet up with anybody new, right? I had 5 new clients for my tax business calls today. And I had no new business clients for the trust, but I had 2 yesterday, right? Incredible people are coming into my life, and I pray that you are having the same type of experience. If not, I recommend you take a look at registering with some type of course, either an online course or a local course at the college. Go meet some new people, New people equal new opportunities, new connections, right? Anybody working on a new diet, right? Again, that's one of the things that I'm working on as well. When I was in Merida, I had the opportunity because Carlos is a brilliant, brilliant healer, and I was dealing with this thing with my chest, and the kids were a little bit sick, and so I got hooked up with some hydrochlorine stuff, which really kicked ass on how I was feeling. Within one day, I was back to being my old self. And there's tons of new diets out there, new products, new ways to kickstart your metabolism, right? And I encourage you to do that. And anybody made any commitments, any New Year's resolutions, or anything that you want to share from that perspective?
I have a quick question. It was a couple weeks ago that there was a lady that did like stem cells patches or something.
Yes.
Yes. Can you send me her contact info? Because we were kind of talking about that, Kelly and I.
Yeah, that's Monica. And yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's incredible technology as well. Monica's leading edge for all of those new technologies. It's a patch, and it taps into your stem cells, and apparently it's incredible. So, and Monica,
Yeah.
I will forward you her information. So
Okay, thank you. Because that beats getting the stem cell injections. No thanks. I hate needles.
correct. Well, and we live in a time when there's so much technology and so many things that are available to us. We owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to our parents and our grandparents to at least try and see how this may solve certain problems, right? I was speaking with one client yesterday, and he's experienced. He's a little bit older than me, he's in his mid-60s, but he's starting to experience tremors. It's a condition, and it affected his father, and it had affected his grandfather, and so he's kind of dealing with that. And he's been healthy his whole life, but now all of a sudden he's starting to experience some of these. So it's like the fear kicks in. Um, we can't change genetics. We are a gene pool, right? And oftentimes when the gene pools connect up, there are patterns that will repeat themselves. And I think that, actually I think that that stem cell theory or treatment may be phenomenal for someone like him as well. Try anything, try something. If you are concerned, or if you have a condition, get the latest technology working for you. So, and other than the injections, So, cool. All right. So, this year, I am committed to helping a ton of people build and acquire a bunch of gold and silver. I was on the phone with one of my clients today. That's his business. He's a gold and silver guy, and he had just landed a client $100,000 out of somebody's IRA that they are taking it out, and they're buying gold with it. Gold and silver, never going to be a bad investment, especially in this type of economy. Some of the challenges with buying gold and silver, depending upon how much you're doing, is storing it through 7K metals. You can store up to $50,000 worth of gold in the vault for free. And so they kind of take that challenge away. If you buy the gold and you send it directly to the vault and you don't take it into your possession, there's no taxes on that. If you take possession into your own state, then usually there's state tax, sales tax that's applied. So you want to start utilizing these tools. The economy is going to continue to be terrible. The economy is going to continue to be terrible. We've been dealing with 3 years of absolute insanity, and that's not going to correct itself overnight, right? So we absolutely need to be proactive with reference to what we're doing. So I encourage everybody to jump on board with our gold and silver, and so that you're at least in the educational process, right? Doesn't mean you need to be dumping a whole bunch of money, but the value with being a part of what we're doing with gold and silver is you can buy $3, $5, $7,000 worth of gold or silver, and it's not an investment. It's a business expense because you're marketing it. So you have 2 years that you can do that. You could start stockpiling roughly 7 to 10 grand a year in precious metals as a business expense on your tax return. After 2 years, you're sitting on that, and you watch how much it's going to increase as the economy continues to get bad. That just makes sense, right? So I'm hooking people up with Charles Rudabaugh, my partner, my business partner, for that. So please, I'm actually going to be referring a handful of people if you want to get on that short list to be brought up to speed with how it works and how you can benefit. Because again, they're giving away a Mustang, a free Mustang, the first quarter of this year. They're also giving away 10,000 or 10 ounces, 10 ounces. No, 1,000 ounces, 1,000 ounces of silver, like huge amounts of precious metals are giving away in promotion. So it's a worthy pursuit, right? And so any questions about that? Right. Precious metals, your insurance plan, play offense, make money as the collectibles are increasing in value. Right? That's the game there. Hydrogen water, we've talked a little bit about that. Again, I don't have my hydrogen bottle yet because they've been back ordered. And because I'm in Mexico, I can't get it shipped to Mexico. So I'm waiting until I get to California and then ordering it there. Queen Sika, I see you're on the line. She was here. I know she wanted information on that. So one thing that came up this week, and I encourage people to possibly come on board as long as it makes sense for you and your business. There's a new referral program. Glenn, it'd be good for you, and Margaret probably as well. For companies that are providing service, the idea is this: is there's no shortage of ways to spend money trying to build client base, right? But as we found with our tax business, the best way to build a client base. Anybody know how the best way to build a client base is in your first 2 years? Is it traditional advertising?
Nope. I'd say referrals and networking.
Correct. Referral marketing, right? So your first 2 years in any business is building through referral and then incentives to your existing clients to continue the referral, right? And if you want to, if you like traditional advertising, you can take like 20% of an annual budget and put it towards cold market, new marketing things, but right. But if you want quality customers, the best mechanism is structuring a referral mechanism. With our tax business, we literally on the back of the business card said, refer a friend, get $10, right? And so now it's up to $25 when people refer a client. They get $25. And if somebody refers 5 people within any given year, we'll start giving them $50. So again, there's incentives for people. Somebody wants to make money, or somebody's just helping somebody out, they get a nice kickback, and all of a sudden they start getting excited and they start referring more people, right? So there's a new mechanism, new platform opening up. It's just in the beta stage right now, but I'm on the inside scoop. I'm going to be coming in as one of the investors in it because I believe in it. I've already gone through it, and I know the business. So there's going to be opportunity for all of us if we want to participate, because there's a referral mechanism as we start putting ourselves into the mix as a company that can be easily referred, and then you start referring some people. But what happens is as the client base increases, there's a kickback to all the people that are participating, and it goes 10 levels deep. And we ran the numbers, and with people just doing what they're going to do, buying what they're going to buy, whether it's tax services, whether it's automotive services, whether it's health and wellness services, whether it's buying groceries, whatever, people are going to do what they're going to do. And within this mechanism, there's going to be 10 layers of kickbacks. And I can see how it would be absolutely easy, if not impossible, for somebody to not be making $500 extra a month simply by being a participant in this. You're going to build your client base. You're going to continue to get a stronger client base, and you get a kickback from just being a part of the early be an early adopter, right? So there's going to be opportunity. I'm going to have my partner come on board and share that once we've got when I've got bigger numbers here, so that people can jump on board. But I think it's going to be a real exciting thing because it's low cost advertising, higher quality customer, and then there's cashback offers. And you guys remember how Groupon kind of took off, where people could get stuff and they got it at a discount. There's elements within it like that, but it's more of just supporting local businesses, right? I go to Home Depot, but I don't like going to Home Depot. I'd much rather go to a small hardware store, right? I like going to I like supporting the little market as opposed to the big chains, right? Down the street here, we've got a little lady and she sells vegetables. I stop by there almost every day just to buy the vegetables that we need, right? That's what we need to get back to, and this is a catalyst, and I think it's going to be a very, very strong success. It's starting off just in Idaho right now, but it's going to be nationwide, and we have the opportunity to be a part of that at the very, 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 very beginning. Everybody understands the value of being at the beginning of the beginning of the beginning? All right. Queen, I owe you information in regards to the hydrogen water. I apologize. I've been chasing my tail, but it will happen this week, guaranteed.
Okay, no worries.
So, wow, that's, it's like,
Just got busy. I know. It's
well, there's,
okay.
there's no shortage of hours in a day. And
Right.
just last week, it was crazy because I had people calling me up, 2 days before the end of the year. Can I get my trust set up? It's like, no, man, you
Wow.
missed it. You missed that window. Like 2 weeks ago, we could have done it. And I had a bunch of people. I had probably, eight trusts kick in December, but so many people are pushing them to January. So everybody's hungry. Everybody's hungry for the knowledge. Everybody's hungry for protection. Everybody's hungry for getting, authentic counsel, without being sold, right? One lady I spoke to last
Misled.
week, you know,
I said
what
are misled.
or misled, correct.
Mhm.
I was speaking with this one lady last week. She says, well, what if your company is worth over $25 million? And it's like, it applies and we can, there's structure. You just got to trust and just go through the process to get it set up so that way your revenue gets redirected through the trust, and 90% of her tax liabilities can disappear, right? And but in the spirit of marketing and that, there's no shortage of people that are out there flogging their stuff. And I'll never say anything bad about anybody, but oftentimes, in the spirit of trying to make a sale, they'll do whatever they have to. They'll say whatever they have to in order to get people. So all right. Anybody have any questions or anything that you want to share? The last thing we're going to talk about. Buying real estate out of state. Okay. So I am looking for a fourplex down in the Texas marketplace. I've been speaking to a number of different people, and we'll probably end up going to be in the Houston area, Houston, somewhere in that, maybe Waco. but that's something that we're looking for. And last year I mentioned this to everybody. I can't emphasize enough the value of getting yourself into a state where there's no state income tax, right? I think things are going to get a little bit crazy, and I think that again, what we're looking, or what I recommend, is if you were to buy a fourplex in a state that is that doesn't have state income tax, you rent off 3 of the units of your fourplex. You keep the 4th one for yourself, right? And again, that's structured, and when you file your taxes, that is your address of record. All of your bills go there. So it's not really rented, as a long-term rental that's kept as your primary residence. You keep it for 2 years. And then if you want to, you can sell it with no capital gains. But more importantly, when you shift yourself to a state that doesn't have state income tax, as your wealth continues to increase, you will most likely save yourself anywhere between $15,000 and potentially $30,000 just by moving your primary residence there, right? Because when we're talking about state income tax, the average employee, the average W-2 person is paying in roughly 35 to 15, $20,000 worth of income tax, right? And depending upon how much money you make, right? If you have an LLC and it's structured out of California or wherever, your annual is 800, and then they tap you on top of, well, you make over that, they start tapping over $800, they start charging you 1.25% of your income tax. And they're going to get a lot more aggressive with that. So you kind of nip it in the bud before it's an issue, and you will be blown away with what you can get, right? Chances are you could afford a lot more in another state. It's a great opportunity for you. And again, if you want, you can keep keep renting your apartment or wherever you are, or your house, right? But I'm talking about tax strategies, and I'm talking about positioning yourself for changes in the economics, the state level economics. Make sense? Right. And just do it as an exercise, right? If anybody comes across any fourplexes that you see, let me know. Maybe we'll go into it together, and cut a deal, right? And there's always opportunities, and like we talk about, that's the value of synergy, is when you're working with other people and everybody has common goals. It's like, oh, it works for you, works for me, right? Hopefully that makes sense. All righty. I don't have a whole bunch. With reference to, I've been working on getting the website and some of our content that I started on this week as well. The website, I got stymied. The program upgraded, and then I had to kind of learn how to redo things. So, but I have 2 free books available for people. Once I get that on the website, it'll be really easy to download it. So I just need to get that set up, and I will get that set up by this time next week. All right. With that being said, I am super excited for everybody. Do yourselves and me a favor. See if you can invite one person onto the call next week. All right. One person onto the call next week. I'll be talking an awful lot about tax strategies, and that's what that's a good open door for this time, right? So I will start structuring a lot of the new things, anything that's coming up. I'll have an open forum for people to ask questions about taxes, right? Ask your tax man is kind of the concept. And if everybody can do that, that would be great. I'm going to be marketing to that as a conversation point for next week's call. All right. With that being said, have yourselves an absolutely awesome week. As I've said before, I'm super excited for you and for all of us that are making this happen in this season. 2024 will be guaranteed your best financial year ever, without a shadow of a doubt. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. I received that. Yes.
Amen. That's the game.
Amen.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later, Steve.
Good night, guys. Bye-bye.